One of the most common questions about data deduplication is when should it be used and when should it not be used? Not every server is a good candidate for deduplication. Not every server is going to have a lot of duplicate data on it. Sometimes when this is most beneficial, your user documents. In the scenario containing user documents, an example of that would be a file server that has a volume on it that contains home folders for my users. Or if you are in an environment where you may redirect users' My Documents or their desktop, if you redirect that to a shared folder, typically they will have lots of duplicate data in those. Now, many of those folders contain spreadsheets, Word documents, PowerPoint presentations, data that can easily be edited, and then an edited copy of that can be saved. Typical space savings for user documents, Microsoft says, ranges between 30 and 50%. Now, some of these ranges have quite a variance because this is really going to be different server by server. Actually depends on how much duplicate data is actually existing on those machines. Deployment shares are also a good candidate for deduplication. A deployment share would be a share that contains applications that you may deploy to client machines on the network. Typically, you have collections, which are like application packages. Many of these application packages may be duplicate packages that have been copied to the server. CAB files live there. CAB files can even be shared between different applications, which would make them duplicate CAB files on that server. So you can see the space savings for that can be as great as 80%. Most environments today run some form of virtualization, whether that is VMware, Microsoft's Hyper-V. Well, if you use VMware, your drives are these VMDK files. If you use Hyper-V, we have VHD and the newer VHDX files. Those hard drives that are used for virtualization, easiest way to think of them is the same as you think of physical drives. They contain operating systems, and those drives contain a lot of duplicate data. So the location that we have all our virtual hard drives saved to is an excellent candidate for deduplication. ISO files can also be deduplicated. Maybe the most common implementation of this will just be for general file shares that a lot of users have read and write access to and can save documents to. An example of that would be if I have a share for the sales department or the marketing department, and I have several users that can update and edit documents in that location. So when I use the term general file share, we really mean a file share for a non-specific purpose. Everything in that list we could classify as a general file share. Some environments, every file server and every volume on every file server, they may enable deduplication. In the next section, we want to take a look at deploying deduplication and some of the concerns we may have.